The time is soon upon us when damaged sheep are going to run like wild beasts out of the organized church. They will be sheep without pastors and without a pasture where they can feed and rest. What we do in Pam Shepherd Ministries is train and equip pastors. I don't mean folk to stand behind pulpits and wear robes and have anniversaries and go to meetings. No, I am talking about people who have the heart and the love for the Lord's sheep. When Jesus was about to depart, he said to Peter, "Feed my sheep. Tend my sheep." To feed the sheep is to give them guidance, leadership, correction, advice, but most of all, love. If we love Jesus, then we love his people. We correct and chastise his people when necessary, but we do that in a spirit of love, not accusation, not condemnation. Many of the sheep are going to come out, and they're going to come out angry. They're going to come out angry and bitter. Some are going to be particularly damaged, having picked up demons, having become demonized within church walls. And many of them are going to have problems, serious problems, hearing voices, seeing things, spirits of fear and anxiety, frustration. And so what we do at Pam Shepherd's Ministries in our program that we call the Soul Program is we train the wounded. We heal the damaged, and then the damage becomes what they say in the recovery 12-step groups, a wounded healer. You cannot come out of the organized church and not be wounded in some way. Jesus will have to heal you by the power of the Holy Spirit. And the healing process for many is going to take a great deal of time, because people become used to bondage. That's right. Bondage itself becomes an addiction. And so one of the things that we have to do is break the bondage. And much of the bondage is in the mind. The mind has to be restored. I had a strange dream this week. I saw myself and my daughter at the home or parsonage of a pastor and the first lady, his wife. After we had eaten the food, we discovered that what we had eaten had been covered in excrement, filth, doo-doo. But we'd eaten it. The pastor and his wife were very nonchalant, in no way concerned about what we had ingested. And so I took action. And in the dream, I grabbed my daughter, who I saw as a child. She's a grown woman now, but I saw her as a child in the dream. And she was about 10. And I stuffed something down her throat in order to make her regurgitate, throw up what she had eaten. My case was different. I had eaten very little food, but what I had beginning to form in my mouth and in my throat were a few maggots. And so I picked them out one at a time. And then those that had begun to go down into the throat, I went, and I coughed them up. When I woke up, I got the interpretation of that dream. The interpretation is this. I didn't grow up in church. I got born again at home and went to church 2 years later. But my daughter was raised in church. And therefore, her situation was a lot more serious than mine. Mine sounds particularly nasty. A few maggots. Have you ever seen a maggot? Them little white-looking worm type things. Maggots are symbolic of death and decay from filth and rot. And you'll see maggots on spoiled food, garbage cans. Well, that is the condition of most people who are in the church, and that will be the condition of those who leave. But their condition will be even more serious. They will have to regurgitate and throw up a whole lot. The maggots that I had in my mouth had no food to thrive on, so I could pick them out or cough them out. But some, it has decayed. The false doctrine has entered in deep into the inward parts of the spirit and the soul. And that must be cleaned out. That must be cleaned out. And that is our job at Pam Shepherd Ministry. When the sheep start running and they come out damaged from all of the contaminated doctrine and practices they have been involved in, having been in the synagogue of Satan, the dwelling place of demons, they come out damaged. And a part of the damage is they don't want to hear about it. They don't want to know just how contaminated and corrupt their religious life has been. And so deliverance begins not with casting out demons, but with breaking the mental bondages. I'm going to read a little bit from Faces of the Religious Demon, my book. Captives have been used to bondage. Bondage must be replaced by freedom. So, in our sessions, we make every effort to enable a damaged captive to know how to guard his spirit, to know his or herself better than the enemy knows him or herself. Because that's one of the major problems. Before you even begin to deal with demons, we have to begin to deal with the captive and all that spoiled, contaminated food that he or she has been eating because they were raised in church. I find that those are the most damaged sheep. The ones who were raised in church. And religion has become an addiction. Well, you come join me, and I'm going to take you through detox. And I'm going to love you while I do it. I love the sheep because Jesus died for you and me. And so, whatever deliverance I conduct, the power is in the love. That's where it is. The power is in the love.